And now we're going to talk about a controversy where an LGBTQ bar just kicked out a Trump-supporting customer who went in there with her husband. Take a listen to this coverage from Pink News.
Get out of my bar.
Because I'm wearing a Trump hat.
Yes.
A queer-friendly jazz bar has responded to backlash for kicking a woman out for wearing a Maga hat. On Friday the 14th of March, staff at Chatterbox, a jazz bar in Indianapolis, Indiana, told Elise Hensley to leave their establishment as she was wearing a Make America Great Again hat.
Get out of my bar.
Why?
Because you're a Trump supporter.
I know, but don't you guys want our money?
No, actually we don't.
Taking to Instagram on Monday the 17th of March, the bar addressed the incident, writing, "On Friday, March 14th, a group of individuals visited Chatterbox and intentionally misgendered and harassed a Chatterbox employee, resulting in them being asked to leave by our staff. They then continued verbally assaulting our patrons and staff and threatened our establishment. We do not tolerate dehumanizing or disrespectful language or symbolism in our establishment." Elise Hensley, the woman who was told to leave, claimed the incident was discrimination.
You know this is like discrimination, right?
Oh, boo-hoo! Get out of my bar.
Elise has since been interviewed on a local news channel in which she said,
I wore that hat because I do love our president of the United States. He is our president. I do appreciate that. And I don't think I find anything wrong with me wanting to wear a Trump hat because he is our president.
In response to Chatterbox's statement, Elise told the news channel that she did not misgender anyone at the bar and that she would have willingly taken off her hat if she was asked.
So it will shock you to learn that the comments sided against the MAGA hat wearing woman and with the bar owner. Best bartender, one person wrote. But I thought they were all about a business's right to deny service based on ideologies, like when bakeries refuse gay wedding cakes. Why is it bad now? Another person said she went into the bar looking for trouble. I 100% believe the bar's version of the incident. Another person said, why would you even go into a gay bar with a MAGA hat unless you wanted to intentionally start something? Another wrote, they have the right to refuse service to anyone they want. So I have mixed feelings on this, and my take might surprise some of you guys, but I think the business has every legal right to do this. I think that if you own a business, you should be able to kick out anyone you want based on their political views, legally speaking. Not about like, oh, what do I think is moral or good or the kind thing to do, but like, what should the law be? Legal anti-discrimination protections are supposed to be for immutable characteristics, things you can't change about yourself. So your skin color, your sexuality, that kind of thing, not your belief systems. If I ran a business, I would want to be able to kick out communists and kick out Nazis. Like I wouldn't want you hanging out in my bar. You're not welcome here. I don't want your money. And it's my business. I should be allowed to do that under the law. Now, I personally have no issue with Trump supporters, and I don't think they're like evil, and I would welcome them in a business if I ran it. But a different business owner may feel differently. And this person, I'm not going to guess their pronouns because that's can only go wrong for me. But they appear to be somewhere on the Q plus spectrum, I'll say, to put it kindly. And maybe they view, honestly, fairly so, like the Trump administration is hostile to all that, and they don't want Trump supporters in their bar. As far as I'm concerned, that's their right. Like I was always fine with, for example, the Christian baker saying, no, I'm not going to make a custom cake for a gay wedding because, okay, I'll get my cake somewhere else. I don't need to force you to violate your beliefs. It's your business. I feel the same way about this. If somebody wants to run a queer safe space and not allow Trump supporters, I think that should be their right. Do I support it? Not really. But legally speaking, I think they should have every right to do that. And it's not discrimination in the sense of like racial discrimination that people treat you differently based on your beliefs and the causes you choose to support. That's just a normal aspect of life. If somebody was walking around with apparel that indicated they support communism, I'm going to treat them differently because of their beliefs and what they support. And that's not discrimination. Like technically it is, but we discriminate all the time in all sorts of ways. We treat people differently because of things about them. That's what discrimination means. It's not discrimination in the sense of invidious discrimination that should be unlawful because you're punishing people for their immutable traits. That's what we mean when we say discrimination. So I don't agree with this Trump supporting woman. She has every right to support Trump, but with the, oh, that's discrimination, I'm a victim. Spare me. I don't believe you're a victim because people are treating you differently because of your beliefs. Now, if you were like criminally harmed, that'd be totally different. But just to say you're not welcome here because of your beliefs is not victimizing you. You can go somewhere else. The same way I don't think those gay people who went to that Christian baker and had to go up the street to Costco for their cake, I don't think they were victims. Like, get it together, folks. Whether it's the left or the right, a lot of people are entitled these days. And a lot of people want to play the victim and think that if anybody ever holds them accountable for their own choices, that that's somehow victimizing them. It's not. And I don't feel particularly bad for this woman. Now, of course, Trump supporters and Trump voters have every right to say, all right, you don't want us, we won't patronize your bar. They can boycott it if they want. But I don't think this business owner did anything that should be illegal. And in the state of Indiana, it's not illegal to discriminate against people for their political beliefs. There are a few states where it actually is illegal, but I disagree with that. I think it should be legal to discriminate against people for the beliefs they choose to hold and the causes they choose to advocate for. And regardless, it's kind of a moot point because in this state, it's not illegal. So the business owner is in their legal right, and I'm not that bothered by what they did. I wouldn't do it if I was running a business. I'd certainly welcome people. But again, you get to make your own rules. And I don't have a lot of time for hypocrites who would say, how dare you reject us for being Trump supporters, but are fine with a Christian baker declining service to gay people. When gay people, it's not even a choice. But at least with your political beliefs, that's something you choose. What do you guys think, though? Do you support this MAGA woman, or do you support the bar owner? Let me know in the comments. And now we'll run through some quick hits to wrap up today's show before I get on a plane and head back to Michigan. And we'll be back in our normal routine and schedule and all that tomorrow. Up first, some liberals are cheering on criminal vandalism and attacks against random Tesla owners. Take a listen to this disturbing clip from The Daily Show.
They're taking to the streets or the parking lots.
Tonight, the FBI and ATF now investigating multiple cases of possible arson targeting Teslas and Cybertrucks.
This dramatic video shows multiple cars in flames. Police say the attacker used Molotov cocktails. It's the latest in more than a dozen instances of arson and vandalism targeting Tesla.
The same suspect shot more Teslas with a gun. Tesla Cybertrucks were set on fire in Kansas City, and earlier this month, shots fired at a Tesla dealership in Oregon. Cybertrucks on fire in Seattle.
Wow, you guys like petty acts of domestic terrorism, huh?
Hey, so that's unhinged. They just, this studio audience of card-carrying liberals at The Daily Show just cheered when the host showed clips of domestic terrorism, of people bombing and setting on fire Tesla dealerships, cars, and shooting bullets into store windows, all because they disagree with the politics of the owner. That's insane. Y'all need to get a grip. You need to touch grass. Remember, wait, politics isn't the end of the world. I'm a normal person. I don't support terrorism, because y'all have lost the plot if you're supporting this. Especially because, I mean, it's wrong anyway to you don't have the right to firebomb a Tesla because your fifis are hurt about Elon Musk's political influence. But also, a lot of the vandalism and targeting is happening to everyday people whose cars are just parked on the street or in a parking garage or what have you. And that's insane. It's not, they bought the car. You don't know what their politics are. Maybe they bought it a couple of years ago before all this. You're just harming your random fellow citizens while having no impact on Elon, except unless they have to take their Tesla to get repaired at a Tesla dealership. Then you're actually potentially generating revenue for Tesla. So great job, vandals out there. But the fact that so many liberal Americans are cheering on criminal acts and acts of terror just because they hate Elon that much is really concerning to me, that people have lost the plot. Because once you go down that path, it can take you to a very dark and dangerous place. Up next, hospitals are asking about babies' sexuality and gender identity now. Yes, seriously. The New York Post reports that New Jersey hospitals are asking parents to identify the pronouns and sexual orientations of their newborn babies. Newborns can't even control their own movements, but that isn't stopping New Jersey hospitals from asking parents for their baby's preferred pronouns and sexual orientation. Inspira Health's Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity Questionnaire requires new parents to identify their babies as either male, female, transgender, genderqueer, or additional gender category. It further asks parents to select the word that best describes their infant: lesbian or gay, straight or heterosexual, self-described, or questioning unsure. Bro, how can a newborn describe it? Self-describe. What does that even mean? Newborns can't speak. What is going on? The healthcare system, which operates 4 hospitals, 2 cancer centers, and 8 health centers throughout South Jersey, created the form last year to comply with a newly enacted Garden State law that requires healthcare providers to collect race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, and gender identity in a culturally competent and sensitive manner. And y'all wonder why people think the DEI stuff has gone too far. Now, I don't necessarily blame the hospital system here because they may just be trying to comply with this weird law, and the reporting did say that they requested a waiver to be exempt from it and hadn't had it approved. But this is an absurdity, and I'm sorry, but this is just one example of thousands where this identitarian stuff, particularly around the gender identity and the sexuality and the whole LGBT issue, has gone too far, has been shoved down people's throats, has been stretched into absurd territories, and then you wonder why public support is backsliding. Look in the mirror, y'all. Look in the mirror. It is creepy and demonic to be asking parents of newborns what their baby's sexuality is or what their pronouns are. And whether it's a quirk of some law that Democrats and just put together not thinking about it and its consequences or not, it is a tiny piece of a broader disturbing trend where people really need to get their act together because this stuff is not reasonable and Americans simply will not put up with it if they keep going down this kind of path. What do y'all think? Can you believe they're actually doing pronoun surveys of newborns now? Yes, this is real life, not the Babylon Bee. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you aren't yet. Thanks again to Lumen for sponsoring today's episode, and we'll talk again real soon.